In 2275, humanity has colonized the Centauri Cluster, a network of space stations orbiting Proxima Centauri. Amid the isolation of deep space, people connect through StarNet, a futuristic social platform resembling Reddit, where anonymous users share stories, advice, and dreams. Two individuals, a station mechanic and a xenobiologist, form an unexpected bond through StarNet's r/SpaceHearts subreddit, navigating love, identity, and survival as their station faces a mysterious threat. Cale Veron leaned back in his bunk, the hum of Alpha Station's ventilation system a constant companion. The metal walls of his quarters were scuffed, patched with duct tape from years of neglect. His neural implant buzzed faintly, a reminder that he hadn't checked StarNet in hours. He tapped his temple, and a translucent interface flickered into his vision, projecting the familiar grid of posts and comments. "Our SpaceHearts," he muttered, scrolling past threads about station hookups and long-distance heartbreak. The subreddit was a guilty pleasure, a corner of StarNet where people bared their souls under the safety of pseudonyms. Cale wasn't one for vulnerability, but tonight, the weight of another 12-hour shift in Alpha's reactor core pressed on him like a hydraulic clamp. He typed a post, fingers hesitating over the holographic keyboard. "Feeling like I'm drifting in more than just space, ***. Star-Wrench 42. Anyone else out here in the void feel like they're just going through the motions? Fix a pipe, patch a hole, rinse, repeat. I'm 28, and my life's peak achievement is unclogging a coolant line without blowing up the station. Sometimes I wonder if there's more than this. Anyone else? Or am I just shouting into the black?" He hit post and sighed, expecting the usual, a few upvotes, maybe a sarcastic comment about station life blues. Alpha Station wasn't exactly a hub of deep thinkers. Most of his co-workers preferred drinking synthale and betting on drone races to philosophizing. Cale swung his legs off the bunk, his boots clanging against the metal floor. His quarters were a glorified closet, barely big enough for a bed, a desk, and a shelf of spare tools. A hollow photo flickered on the desk, his parents, smiling during a rare shore leave on Earth, before the accident that took them. He looked away, the ache in his chest too familiar. The implant buzzed again. A notification. One new comment on your post. Biostellar. I hear you, Star-Wrench 42. I'm on a research station, buried in data and microbes, and some days it feels like I'm just a cog in a machine too big to care. But there's beauty in the small stuff, you know? Like today I watched a cell divide under my scope, and it was kind of magical. What's one thing that keeps you going out there? Cale blinked, surprised. The comment wasn't snarky or dismissive. It was thoughtful. He tapped a reply. Star-Wrench 42. A cell dividing, huh? That's a new one. I guess what keeps me going is knowing if I don't fix the pipes, this whole station goes kablooey. No pressure, right? What's your deal, Biostellar? You sound like you're chasing something bigger than microbes. He sent it, a grin tugging at his lips. The station's lights flickered briefly, a low hum vibrating through the walls. Cale frowned, checking his implant for alerts. Nothing. Probably just another glitch in Alpha's aging grid. He'd add it to tomorrow's maintenance log. On Beta Station, 200 kilometers away, Dr. Alara Chun sat cross-legged on her lab stool, her neural implant glowing as she read Star-Wrench 42's reply. The lab was silent except for the faint whir of her microbial incubator. Petri dishes lined the counter, glowing faintly with bioluminescent samples from Proxima's asteroid belt. Her colleagues had long since left for the night, leaving her alone with her work and her thoughts. Alara wasn't good with people. Never had been. In person, she stumbled over words, her mind racing faster than her mouth could keep up. But on StarNet, she was biostellar, confident, and articulate. She'd stumbled across r/SpaceHearts a month ago, drawn to its mix of raw honesty and absurd humor. Star-Wrench 42's post had caught her eye. Something about the quiet desperation in his words felt like a mirror. She typed, Biostellar. Kablooey is a scientific term, right? I'm a xenobiologist, studying alien microbes to see if they can help us survive out here. It's not glamorous. Think less first contact, more staring at goo for hours. But it's mine. What's it like being the guy who keeps a station from going kablooey? She hit send, then leaned back, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. Her lab coat was wrinkled, stained with nutrient gel from a long day. She glanced at the incubator, where a sample pulsed faintly, almost rhythmically. Odd. She made a mental note to check the readings tomorrow. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. A StarNet notification. StarWrench 42 had replied already. StarWrench 42. Goose staring sounds intense. Respect. Me, I'm just a wrench monkey. Crawl through ducts, weld leaks, curse at broken bots. Today I spent 4 hours untangling a coolant line that decided it wanted to be modern art. Keeps me busy, but it's not exactly saving the universe. You ever feel like you're meant for more? Biostellar? Alara's heart did a little flip. This guy, whoever he was, got it. She started typing, then paused as the lab's lights flickered. A low hum vibrated through the floor, and her terminal glitched, displaying a string of garbled code before resetting. She frowned, running a diagnostic. The system flagged an unknown signal interference, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Great, she muttered. Beta's systems were finicky, but this felt different. She shook it off, focusing on her reply. Biostellar. Meant for more? All the time. I'm out here looking for answers in microbes, but sometimes I wonder if I'm just chasing ghosts. What about you? If you could do anything, no limits, what would it be? Back on Alpha, Kale read Biostellar's reply as he chewed on a protein bar. The station's mess hall was empty, the night cycle casting long shadows across the tables. His implant pinged again, another flicker in the grid, this time with a warning. Power surge detected, Sector 7. He cursed under his breath. Sector 7 was the reactor core. If that went down, Alpha was screwed. He typed a quick response. StarWrench 42, no limits? I'd be out there, exploring new systems, not stuck patching the same station day after day. Gotta run. Station's throwing a tantrum. Keep chasing those ghosts, Biostellar. He logged off, grabbing his toolkit. The hum in the walls was louder now, almost like a pulse. As he headed for the core, his implant buzzed with a faint, untraceable signal, a string of code that looked almost deliberate. He shook his head, blaming fatigue. Stations didn't talk, did they? In her lab, Alara read StarWrench 42's reply, smiling despite herself. Whoever this guy was, he had a spark she hadn't expected. She started to type a response, but her terminal glitched again, displaying the same garbled code. This time, it lingered, forming a pattern that looked eerily like a waveform. Her scientist brain kicked into gear. This wasn't random noise. It was something. She saved the data, her pulse quickening. Whatever this signal was, it was no ordinary glitch. And somewhere out there, on another station, a wrench-wielding stranger was starting to feel like the closest. Kale Varon crawled through the maintenance shaft, the air thick with a metallic tang of coolant and burnt wiring. His headlamp cast jittery shadows across the narrow tunnel, illuminating a tangle of cables that looked like they'd been knotted by a particularly spiteful AI. Alpha Station's reactor core had thrown another fit. Second time this shift, and the glitchy power surge was starting to feel personal. Stupid, ancient heap, he muttered, wrenching a panel open. His neural implant buzzed with diagnostics. Voltage spike, Sector 7, source unknown. He swore under his breath, swapping out a fried relay. The hum in the walls pulsed again, low and rhythmic like a heartbeat. It wasn't just the usual drone of machinery. Something was off, but Kale didn't have the bandwidth to play detective. Not when the core could overheat and turn Alpha into a very expensive firework. His implant pinged, a StarNet notification. Despite himself, Kale grinned. Biostellar. He'd been checking our /SpaceHearts compulsively since last night, half expecting their conversation to fizzle out like most online threads. But her latest message was waiting, time-stamped an hour ago. Biostellar. Station tantrums sound rough. StarWrench 42. Hope you tame the beast. If you're out exploring new systems someday, what's the first thing you do? Me, I'd look for life, any kind, even if it's just a weird little microbe. Gotta believe there's something out there worth finding. Kale paused, his hands still on a relay. The question hit harder than he expected. Exploration was a kid's dream, something he'd buried after his parents' accident. He typed a reply, one-handed, his headlamp flickering as the hum in the walls grew louder. Star 42. Tamed it for now, but this station's got a temper. First thing I'd do out there? Find a planet with actual gravity and take a nap under a real sky. No offense to your microbes, but I'm not big on goo. What's the weirdest thing you found in your lab? He sent it, then refocused on the relay. The hum stopped abruptly, replaced by a sharp crackle over his implant. A string of code flashed across his vision, gibberish but structured, like a language he couldn't read. It vanished before he could save it. Great, he muttered. Now the station's speaking in tongues. On Beta Station, Elara Chun hunched over her terminal, the lab's dim lights casting her shadow across a wall of monitors. The incubator hummed softly, its bioluminescent samples pulsing in sync with erasing thoughts. The strange waveform from last night hadn't reappeared, but her gut told her it wasn't a fluke. She'd run every diagnostic she could think of, and the results were maddeningly inconclusive. The signal wasn't mechanical interference or cosmic noise. It was deliberate. Her implant chimed, pulling her from her spiral. Star 42's reply. She smiled, her fingers already moving to respond. Biostellar. A nap under a sky sounds amazing. Never seen one myself. Born on a station, raised in labs. Weirdest thing in my lab? Last week, I found a microbe that glows when it's happy. Okay, when it's metabolizing a specific protein. It's like it's putting on a show. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in those ducks? She hit send, then glanced at the incubator. The samples were glowing brighter than usual, their pulses almost synchronized. She frowned, checking the data log. The microbial activity had spiked during the night cycle, correlating with the signal glitch. Coincidence? Elara didn't believe in those. Chun, a voice barked, making her jump. Dr. Raj Patel stood in the lab doorway, his arms crossed. Her mentor was all sharp edges, gray hair cropped close, eyes like a hawk's. You're still here? It's past midnight. Just finishing up, Elara said, minimizing her StarNet window. Raj had no patience for distractions, and she wasn't about to explain our /SpaceHearts to him. He strode over, peering at her terminal. Still chasing that signal anomaly? I told you, it's probably just a faulty relay. Alpha's grid is older than half the crew. Elara hesitated. Raj was brilliant, but he dismissed anything that didn't fit his worldview. The data doesn't match a relay failure, she said carefully. The waveform's too structured. It's almost like communication. Raj snorted. Communication? From what? Space ghosts. Focus on the microbes, Chun. We need results for the next funding cycle, not sci-fi fantasies. Her cheeks burned, but she nodded. Yes, sir. As Raj left, Elara's implant pinged again. Another reply from Star 42. Star 42. Happy microbes? That's wild. Weirdest thing in the ducks. Found a bot once that someone programmed to sing old Earth pop songs. Kept belting Sweet Caroline until I yanked its power cell. Made my day, though. Your glowy friends ever do anything that freaky? Elara laughed, the sound echoing in the empty lab. She started typing, but her terminal glitched again, the screen flickering with that same waveform. This time, it lingered long enough for her to capture it. Her heart raced as she analyzed the data. The signal's frequency matched the microbial pulses almost perfectly. This wasn't random. Something was connecting her lab to what? Kale emerged from the maintenance shaft, covered in grease, and cursing the station's designers. The reactor was stable, for now, but the power surges were getting worse. He reported the issue to Mira, his shift lead, who was leaning against a console in the control room, sipping synth coffee. Another surge? Mira asked, raising an eyebrow. She was a stocky woman with a buzz cut and a knack for calling Kale on his bullshit. You sure you didn't just cross a wire wrench? Kale said, tossing his toolkit onto a bench. It's not me. Something's messing with the grid. I saw code, weird code, like it was trying to say something. Mira frowned. Code doesn't talk, kid. File a report and let the techs handle it. You look like you haven't slept in a week. She wasn't wrong. Kale's bunk called to him, but so did StarNet. Back in his quarters, he opened Biostellar's latest message and grinned at her description of glowing microbes. He typed, "Starange 42, singing bots, dancing microbes. We're running a circus out here. I'd love to see your glowy friend someday. Station's acting up again, though. Weird code keeps popping up, like the system's got a mind of its own. You ever get glitches like that over there?" He sent it, then leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The hum was back, fainter now but still there. His implant buzzed with another flicker of code, gone before he could grab it. He rubbed his temples, trying to shake the unease. Stations were supposed to be predictable. People, though? People were anything but. Alara read Starange 42's message as she sipped a nutrient shake, her lab now bathed in the soft glow of her samples. His mention of weird code stopped her cold. She reread it, her mind racing. The signal in her lab, the pulses in her microbes, and now, strange code on another station. The Centauri Cluster was tightly linked. Alpha's industrial output fed Beta's research. Gamma's crops fed them all. A glitch on one station could ripple across the others. She typed, her fingers trembling slightly. Biostellar. Glitches? Yeah, I've seen something similar. My terminal's been acting up, showing patterns that don't make sense. And my microbes, they're reacting to it. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like something's trying to talk through our systems. You said you're on a station. Any chance you're in the Centauri Cluster? She hesitated, then hit send. Revealing too much could break the anonymity that made r/SpaceHearts feel safe, but the coincidence was too stark. If Starange 42 was in the cluster, they might be closer than she thought. The lab's lights flickered again, and the incubator's hum shifted, almost like a melody. Alara froze, her scientist's brain screaming pattern recognition. She pulled up the waveform data, cross-referencing it with the microbial activity. The correlation was undeniable. Whatever the signal was, it wasn't just a glitch, it was alive, or at least acting like it. Kale stared at Biostellar's message, his bunk suddenly feeling too small. Centauri Cluster. She was here, or at least close. His pulse quickened, not just from the idea of her being nearby, but from her mention of glitches. The same weird shit was happening on Beta. He started to reply, then stopped as the station's lights dimmed. The hum surged louder than ever, and his implant flooded with code, rows of symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat before vanishing. "Mira!" he shouted, bolting for the control room. The station was talking, and it wasn't saying anything good. Kale Varon's boots echoed in the narrow corridor leading to Alpha Station's reactor core. The air was thick with the acrid smell of overheating circuits, and his headlamp flickered as he jogged, toolkit banging against his hip. The hum in the walls had escalated into a low, pulsing throb, like the station itself was breathing too fast. His neural implant buzzed with alerts. Asterisk critical overload detected, Sector 7. Containment failure imminent, asterisk. Imminent my ass, Kale muttered, quickening his pace. He'd seen imminent warnings before, usually just the system being dramatic, but the code flashes he'd caught earlier weren't normal. They were too structured, too intentional, like something was trying to rewrite the station's pulse. In the control room, Mira was already at the main console, her fingers flying across the hollow interface. "Took you long enough, wrench," she barked, not looking up. "Core spiking again. If we don't vent the excess energy, we're looking at a shutdown. Or worse." Kale dropped his toolkit and slid under a panel, yanking open a maintenance hatch. "Worse like evacuate the station worse, or were all space dust worse?" Mira snorted, but her eyes were tight with worry. "Pick one and fix it." He worked fast, bypassing fried circuits and rerouting power through secondary relays. The hum grew louder, vibrating through his bones. His implant flashed another burst of code, symbols that twisted like a language he couldn't parse. He tried to save it, but it vanished, leaving a faint afterimage in his vision. His stomach churned. This wasn't just a glitch. It was something else. As he tightened a connection, his mind wandered to Biostellar's last message. Centauri Cluster. She was close, maybe on Beta or Gamma. The thought made his chest tighten in a way that had nothing to do with the reactor. He meant to reply, but the station's tantrum had other plans. If she was seeing the same glitches, maybe she'd have a theory. Scientists were supposed to be good at that, right? The panel sparked, snapping him back to reality. "Come on, you bastard," he growled, swapping out a burnt fuse. The hum softened, and the core's readings stabilized on his implant. Crisis averted for now. Mira leaned over, wiping sweat from her brow. "Nice work, kid. You okay? You look like you saw a ghost." "Not a ghost," Kale said, climbing out. "Just weird code. Keeps popping up, then disappearing. You see anything like that?" Mira frowned, tapping her own implant. "Nothing like that here. File it with the text. And get some sleep. You're no good to me if you keel over." Kale nodded, but sleep was the last thing on his mind. He needed to check StarNet. He needed to talk to Biostellar. On Beta Station, Elara Chun sat in her lab, staring at a hollow display of the captured waveform. The signal's pattern was hypnotic, looping in ways that mimicked biological rhythms, almost like the microbial pulses in her incubator. She'd spent the night running simulations, and the results were impossible to ignore. The signal wasn't random noise. It was structured, adaptive, maybe even responsive. But to what? Her implant pinged with a new StarNet notification, but she ignored it for now. Raj's dismissal still stung. Space ghosts, he called it. But she couldn't let it go. If this signal was affecting her microbes, and if Starrange 42 was seeing similar glitches, it could mean something bigger. Something that could change everything. The lab door hissed open, and Dr. Raj Patel strode in, his expression as sour as ever. "Chun, you're still on this signal nonsense? I need your microbial yield reports by tomorrow." The council's breathing down my neck. Elara swallowed her frustration. "The reports are almost done, sir. But this signal, it's not nonsense. I cross-referenced it with the microbial data, and there's a correlation. The samples are reacting to it, like it's triggering their behavior." Raj crossed his arms. "Correlation isn't causation, Chun. You're a scientist, not a conspiracy theorist. Focus on the work that pays for this lab." "But what if it's not just a glitch?" she pressed, her voice sharper than she intended. "What if it's communication? From something out there?" Raj's eyes narrowed. "You sound like one of those StarNet crackpots. Drop it, or I'll reassign you to waste recycling." "Understood." Elara nodded, her jaw tight. As Raj left, she opened her StarNet interface, desperate for a distraction. Starrange 42 hadn't replied yet, but their last exchange replayed in her mind. His talk of naps under a sky, his sarcasm masking something deeper. It felt like a lifeline in the sterile void of Beta Station. She typed, "Biostellar. Hey, Starrange 42, you still out there wrestling your station? I'm starting to think our glitches are connected. My microbes are acting like they're listening to something, and it's tied to that weird signal. If you're in the Centauri Cluster, maybe we're dealing with the same thing. Ever feel like the universe is trying to tell you something?" She sent it, her heart pounding. It was a risk, nudging him toward specifics, but the signal was too big to ignore. If he was in the cluster, they could compare notes, maybe even help each other. The incubator pulsed brighter, the microbes glowing in a rhythm that matched the waveform on her screen. Elara's breath caught. She adjusted the sensors, capturing real-time data. The signal was back, stronger this time, weaving through Beta's systems like a thread. She traced its path, her fingers trembling. It wasn't just in her lab, it was pinging Alpha Station's network. Kale slumped onto his bunk, the adrenaline from the reactor fix fading into bone-deep exhaustion. The station was quiet now, the hum reduced to a faint murmur. He opened StarNet, and Biostellar's message lit up his implant. Her words hit like a jolt of synth coffee. Asterisk glitches are connected, microbes listening. Centauri Cluster star. She was onto something, and it wasn't just her microbes. The code he'd seen in the core was no random error. It was alive, or close to it. He typed, his fingers clumsy with fatigue. "Starrange 42, Biostellar, you're freaking me out a little. Yeah, I'm in the Centauri Cluster, Alpha Station, to be exact. Saw more of that weird code today, like it's trying to talk. Your microbes are listening? That's next level creepy. What's your setup over there? You got a theory, or are we just screwed?" He sent it, then leaned back, staring at the hollow photo of his parents. The accident that killed them, a hull breach during a routine repair, had been blamed on human error. His error, according to the report. He'd been 19, barely trained, and the guilt still clung to him like rust. If something was wrong with Alpha's systems, he wasn't about to let it slide. Not again. His implant buzzed, another flicker of code. This time, he managed to save a fragment before it vanished. It looked like a sequence, almost musical, with repeating patterns that felt familiar. He forwarded it to the tech team, then hesitated. Biostellar was a scientist. Maybe she'd see something he didn't. He attached the fragment to a new StarNet message. Starange 42. Check this out. Caught some of the code before it ghosted me. Mean anything to you? I'm starting to think you're right about the universe talking. Problem is, I don't speak its language. He sent it, his stomach nodding. Whoever Biostellar was, she was pulling him out of his shell, one snarky message at a time. And if she was on beta, they were only a shuttle ride apart. The thought made his pulse race, equal parts thrill and terror. Alera's lab was a mess of open hollow screens, each displaying a different slice of data. Microbial pulses, signal waveforms, system logs. Starange 42's reply, and the attached code fragment, sent her mind into overdrive. Alpha Station. He was on Alpha, the industrial hub of the cluster, just a few hours away by shuttle. And his code, it matched her waveform almost perfectly. She opened the fragment, overlaying it with her data. The patterns aligned, their rhythms syncing like a duet. Her microbes pulsed in time, their glow intensifying. Alera's breath hitched. This wasn't a coincidence. The signal was bridging their stations, maybe the entire cluster. But why? And what was it trying to say? She typed, her words spilling out faster than she could think. Biostellar. Starange 42, you're on Alpha? I'm on Beta. That code you sent, it's the same pattern I'm seeing here. My microbes are reacting to it, like it's a trigger. I know this sounds insane, but I think something's using our systems to communicate. Maybe not hostile, but alive. Can you keep an eye out for more code? I'm digging deeper, but I could use a partner in this. She sent it, then froze. Partner. The word felt too big, too intimate. But it was true. She needed him. Not just for the signal, but for the way his messages made her feel less alone. Less like a cog in Raj's machine. The lab's lights flickered, and the incubator's hum shifted into a high-pitched whine. Alera spun around, her heart pounding. The microbes were glowing so brightly they cast shadows across the room. Their pulses now a rapid, almost frantic rhythm. Her terminal glitched, displaying a new waveform. This one stronger, clearer, and unmistakably directed at Alpha Station. Kale's implant pinged with Biostellar's reply as he headed for the mess hall. Beta Station. She was closer than he'd dared hope. And her theory, something alive in their systems, matched the unease crawling up his spine. He started to reply, but the station's lights dimmed, and the hum surged into a deafening pulse. Alarms blared, and his implant flooded with alerts. Asterisk system failure, Sector 7. Containment breach detected, asterisk. Shit, Kale whispered, sprinting for the core. Whatever was talking through Alpha's systems, it wasn't waiting for an answer. Kale Varon's breath rasped in his helmet as he sealed the airlock behind him, the reactor core's warning klaxons screaming through his suit's comms. The corridor to Sector 7 was a red-lit maze of pipes and conduits, shaking with the violent pulse of Alpha Station's failing heart. His implant blared. Asterisk containment breach, critical. Core temperature exceeding safe limits. Asterisk if he didn't stabilize it in the next 10 minutes, Alpha would be a glowing wreck, and him with it. Wrench, talk to me. Myra's voice crackled over the comms, sharp with urgency. You in yet? Almost. Kale grunted, hauling himself through a maintenance hatch. The hum was everywhere now, a bone-rattling throb that synced with the flickering code in his implant. It wasn't just a glitch anymore. It was a presence like the station was alive and pissed off. He shoved the thought aside, focusing on the task. Panic wouldn't fix the core, and it sure as hell wouldn't bring his parents back. The memory hit hard. His mom's laugh, his dad's steady hand on his shoulder, both gone in a flash of decompressed metal. The report had pinned it on Kale's rookie mistake, a misaligned seal during a hull repair. He'd been 19, barely trained, but the guilt didn't care about details. It clung to him, heavy as the toolkit strapped to his back. He reached the core's outer chamber, a cavernous dome of reinforced alloy. The control panel glowed red, screaming overload warnings. Kale ripped it open, his gloved fingers fumbling with wires. The hum spiked, and his implant flashed another burst of code, those same twisting symbols, now pulsing in time with the core's vibrations. Not now, he muttered, trying to focus. But the code felt intentional, like it was watching him. Mira, you seeing this? He said, patching his implant's feed to her console. Code's back, and it's not random. Her reply was tense. I see it, but I don't know what it is. Focus on the core, wrench. We're running out of time. Kale rerouted power, bypassing the overloaded circuits. The core's temperature dropped slightly, but the hum didn't let up. His suit's sensors pinged a radiation spike. Nothing lethal, but enough to make his skin crawl. He worked faster, sweat beading inside his helmet. The code flashed again, this time forming a pattern that looked almost like a question. He froze, his hands trembling. What the hell do you want? He whispered, half to himself. The hum softened, just for a second, like it was listening. On Beta Station, Elara Chun paced her lab, her holoscreens a chaotic mosaic of data. The microbial samples in the incubator were going wild, their bioluminescence pulsing so brightly it hurt her eyes. The waveform, the signal, was stronger now, weaving through Beta's systems like a virus. Her latest analysis confirmed it. The signal wasn't just affecting her microbes, it was interacting with them, like a conversation she couldn't hear. StarNet 42's message burned in her mind. Alpha Station. Code, try to talk. He'd sent her a fragment that matched her waveform perfectly, and the realization that they were in the same cluster, only hours apart, made her heart race. She wanted to reply, to tell him everything, but Raj's warning echoed. Drop it, or I'll reassign you. She couldn't afford to lose her lab, not when she was this close to something big. The lab door hissed open, and Raj stormed in, his face a thundercloud. Jim, what is this? He gestured at the glowing incubator, his voice tight. Your samples are overloading the power grid. I told you to focus on the yield reports, not this light show. Elara's stomach nodded. It's not me, sir. The microbes are reacting to a signal, same one I showed you. It's coming from outside our systems, and it's affecting Alpha Station too. Raj's eyes narrowed. Alpha? You're collaborating with someone now? Who? No one. Elara said quickly, her cheeks flushing. Just a contact. They're seeing the same glitches. This isn't a coincidence, Dr. Patel. The signal's alive, or at least acting like it. Raj scoffed, stepping closer to the incubator. Alive? You're letting your imagination run wild. Chun, shut this down now. I'm not losing funding because you're chasing fantasies. Elara's hands clenched. If we ignore this, we could miss something huge. What if it's first contact? What if? Enough. Raj snapped. You're on thin ice. Get those reports done, or you're out. He turned and left, the door hissing shut behind him. Elara sank onto her stool, her chest tight. She opened StarNet, needing an anchor. StarNet 42's latest message was there, with the code fragment. She typed, her fingers shaking. Biostellar. StarNet 42, your code the match for my signal. It's not just in our systems, it's talking to my microbes. I'm getting pushback here, but I can't stop now. You said you're in Alpha's core. Anything new? I'm scared we're running out of time. She sent it, then turned back to her holoscreens. The signal's waveform was evolving, its patterns growing more complex. She ran a new simulation, cross-referencing it with the microbial data. The results made her breath catch. The signal wasn't just triggering the microbes, it was mimicking their behavior, like it was learning from them. The lab's lights flickered, and the incubator's hum shifted into a sharp, almost melodic tone. Elara froze. The microbes pulsed in perfect sync with the signal, their glow casting eerie shadows across the room. She grabbed her tablet, recording everything. Whatever this was, it wasn't just a glitch. It was reaching out, Kale's hand shook as he sealed the last bypass, the core's temperature finally dropping to safe levels. The alarms quieted, but the hum lingered, a low throb that felt like it was inside his skull. His implant pinged with Biostellar's message, and he read it through his suit's visor, his heart pounding. Talking to her microbes. If she was right, if this signal was alive, then Alpha's core wasn't just a mechanical failure. It was a target. Mira, core's stable, he said over the comms, climbing out of the chamber. But this code, it's not random. I sent it to someone on beta, and they're seeing the same thing. Myra's voice crackled back. Beta? You're crowdsourcing now? Focus, wrench. We need to log this and get the techs on it. Yeah, Kale muttered, but his mind was on Biostellar. She was scared, and so was he. Not just of the signal, but of how much he wanted to keep talking to her. He'd never felt this kind of pull, not even with people he saw every day. It was stupid. She was just a username, but she was real in a way nothing else was. Back in his quarters, he stripped off his suit, the smell of coolant clinging to his skin. He opened StarNet and typed. Starinch 42, Biostellar, just pulled the core back from the brink. Your signal's messing with us too. Showed up in the middle of the chaos like it was watching. I'm freaked out, but I'm in. Whatever this is, we'll figure it out. What's your next move? He sent it, then leaned back, staring at the hollow photo of his parents. The guilt was still there, sharp as ever. But Biostellar's messages were a spark in the dark. She was on beta, fighting her own battles, and, somehow, that made his feel less heavy. He saved another fragment of the code as it flashed across his implant, attaching it to a new message. Starinch 42, more code for you. Caught it during the core mess. Let me know what you see. And stay safe, okay? Don't let your boss grind you down. He sent it, his chest tight. The hum was back, fainter now, but it felt like it was waiting. For what? He didn't know. Alara read Starinch 42's messages as her lab's lights flickered again. His words, I'm an asterisk, hit like a lifeline. She wasn't alone in this, not anymore. The code fragment he'd sent was another piece of the puzzle, its patterns weaving into her waveform like a missing thread. She ran it through her analyzer, her heart racing. The signal was adapting, growing more complex with every interaction. It wasn't just talking, it was learning. She typed a reply, her fingers steady despite the chaos around her. Biostellar, Starinch 42, you're a lifesaver, literally. That code's a perfect match. It's evolving. I think it's using our systems to study us, maybe even to reach us. I'm running more tests, but my boss is shutting me down. I might have to go rogue. Keep sending me anything you see. And thanks for being in this with me. It means more than you know. She sent it, then turned to the incubator. The microbes were a supernova of light now, their pulses almost frantic. The signal's waveform danced across her screen, its rhythm matching the microbes beat for beat. Alara's breath caught as a new pattern emerged, a sequence that looked like a greeting, simple and deliberate. The lab door hissed, and she spun around, expecting Raj. But it was empty, the lights flickering in time with the signal. Her implant buzzed, and a single line of code appeared. Hello. Kale Varon sat in Alpha Station's debriefing room, the harsh fluorescent lights making his headache worse. The air was stale, and a metal chair creaked under his weight. Across the table, Chief Engineer Torres glowered, his tablet displaying a report that might as well have been a guillotine. The reactor breach had been contained, but not without cost. 2 secondary systems were fried, and the tech team was still combing through the damage. Torres, a grizzled veteran with a permanent scowl, wasn't buying Kale's story about weird code. You're telling me, Torres said, his voice low and sharp, that some mystery signal caused the core to nearly melt down? You expect me to put that in my report to the council? Kale shifted, his hands clenching under the table. I'm not making it up, Chief. The code showed up right when the core spiked. It's not random. It's structured like it's trying to do something. Torres leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. You've got a history, Varon. That whole breach 6 years ago. Your parents, your fault. I gave you a second chance because Mira vouched for you. But if you're chasing ghosts instead of doing your job, you're done. The words hit like a punch. Kale's throat tightened, the old guilt clawing at him. He wanted to argue, to tell Torres about Biostellar and her matching signal, but he knew it'd sound like a conspiracy theory. Instead, he nodded, his jaw tight. Understood, sir. Won't happen again. Torres dismissed him with a wave, and Kale stalked out, his boots echoing in the empty corridor. The hum was faint now, almost mocking, like it knew he was on a leash. His implant pinged, a StarNet notification from Biostellar. He ducked into a maintenance closet for privacy, the cramped space smelling of oil and metal. Her message was a lifeline in the dark. Biostellar. Starrange 42, I'm in deep now. My boss is shutting me down, but I can't stop. The signal spoke. It sent a pattern that looked like hello. I'm running secret tests, but I'm scared. If you're seeing this on Alpha, we need to compare notes. What happened with your core? You okay? Kale's heart skipped. Hello. The word sent a chill down his spine. If her signal was saying words, his code wasn't just a glitch, it was part of something bigger. He typed, his fingers clumsy with adrenaline. Starrange 42, Biostellar, hello? That's holy shit. Core stable, but I almost got canned for talking about the code. It's definitely not random. Showed up during the breach, like it was pushing the system to fail. I'm okay, just rattled. You're going rogue? Be careful, but I'm with you. Send you another code fragment I grabbed. What's your plan? He attached the latest snippet of code, captured during the core's meltdown. It was more complex now, with looping patterns that felt almost emotional. He shook his head, blaming exhaustion. Code didn't have feelings. Did it? The hum pulsed faintly, and Kale's implant flickered with another burst of symbols. He saved it, his gut telling him Biostellar needed every piece of this puzzle. Whoever she was the only one who didn't think he was crazy. Alara-chan worked in the shadows of her lab. The lights dimmed to avoid drawing attention. Raj had locked her out of the main system, citing resource misuse, but she'd hacked a backdoor using an old admin code from her grad days. The incubator glowed like a miniature star, the microbes pulsing in sync with the signal's waveform. The hello pattern hadn't repeated, but its echo lingered in her data, taunting her with possibilities. Her implant buzzed with Starrange 42's reply, and she smiled despite the tension knotting her shoulders. He was rattled, but still fighting. His code fragment loaded onto her holoscreen, and her breath caught. It was nearly identical to her hello pattern, just with a slight variation, like a dialect. The signal was adapting, maybe even tailoring itself to each station. She typed, her heart pounding. Biostellar. Starrange 42, your code to match, but it's different, like it's speaking to Alpha specifically. I think this thing's learning from us, maybe even testing us. I'm running offline tests to keep my boss off my back, but I'm risking everything. Got any tech tricks to help me stay under the radar? And, you okay after that breach? Sounds intense. She sent it, then turned to her makeshift setup. She'd rerouted power to a portable server, isolating her experiments from Beta's main grid. The microbes were her focus now. They were the key. Their bioluminescence wasn't just reacting to the signal. It was amplifying it, like they were part of its network. She adjusted the incubator's sensors, capturing real-time data. The waveform shifted again, forming a new pattern, short, sharp pulses like a question. Who are you? Alara whispered, half expecting an answer. The lab was silent except for the incubator's hum, but the air felt heavy, charged with something she couldn't name. Her implant pinged, and she flinched, expecting another code burst. Instead, it was a security alert. Unauthorized access detected. Lab 7B, her lab. Her stomach dropped. Raj, or someone, had noticed her hack. She killed the server's connection, her hands shaking as she hid the data. Footsteps echoed outside, heavy and deliberate. She ducked under the console, just as the door hissed open. Chun. It was Raj's voice, laced with suspicion. You in here? Alara held her breath, her heart hammering. The microbes dimmed, as if sensing the danger. Raj's boots scuffed the floor, pausing near the incubator. What the hell is this? He muttered, his fingers tapping on a tablet. The hum in the wall spiked, and Alara's implant flashed with code. A warning, or maybe a plea. She stayed still, praying Raj wouldn't check under the console. After an eternity, he left, the door hissing shut. Alara exhaled, crawling out. The microbes flared back to life, their pulses frantic. She reconnected the server, her resolve hardening. Raj could threaten her all he wanted. She wasn't stopping now. Not when Starrange 42 was counting on her. Kale grabbed a synth coffee from the mess hall, the bitter taste grounding him as he read Biostellar's reply. Learning from us. The idea made his skin crawl, but it fit. The code in the core had felt like it was watching, waiting for him to make a move. And her question, Asterisk, you okay? Asterisk hit deeper than he expected. He wasn't okay. Not really, but her concern made it bearable. He typed, leaning against the mess hall's cold metal wall. Starrange 42. Biostellar, this thing's learning? That's next level terrifying. I'm okay, just got my ass chewed by the boss. Tech tricks? If you're hiding from your system, use a ghost protocol. Reroute your implant's signal through a dead node. I can send you a script for it. Keep me posted on those microbes. And, thanks for checking on me. Means a lot. He attached a simple script he'd used to bypass Alpha's monitoring during late-night StarNet binges. The hum was faint now, but it hadn't stopped. He sipped his coffee, staring at the hollow photo of his parents on his bunk. The guilt was still there, but Biostellar's messages were a spark of something else. Hope? Maybe, or just a feeling of not being alone. His implant buzzed, another code fragment. This one was different, slower, almost gentle like a whisper. He saved it, forwarding it to Biostellar with a quick note. Starrange 42, new code, softer this time. Like it's trying to be friendly. Or maybe I'm losing it. What do you see? He sent it, then headed for the maintenance bay. Mira was there, tinkering with a drone. You look like hell, Wrench, she said, not looking up. What's eating you? Kale hesitated. You ever feel like the station's watching you? Mira snorted, but her eyes flicked to him, curious. You're spending too much time on StarNet. Go fix something before Torres fires you. Kale grinned, but it didn't reach his eyes. The hum pulsed again, and his implant flickered with a single word. Hello. He froze, his coffee slipping from his hand. The station wasn't just watching, it was talking. Alara's lab was a fortress of data now, her portable server humming with encrypted files. Starrange 42's Ghost Protocol script worked like a charm, keeping her tests off Raj's radar. His latest code fragment loaded onto her screen, and she gasped. It was identical to her hello pattern, but softer, almost tentative. The microbes pulsed in sync, their glow warm and inviting. She typed, her fingers flying. Biostellar, Starrange 42, your new code to match for my hello. It's like it's trying to be gentle now, maybe even friendly. Thanks for the script. It's saving my ass. I'm running a new test to see if I can talk back to the signal. If this is first contact, we're in it together. You holding up? That hello must have freaked you out. She sent it, then turned to the incubator. She adjusted the sensors, sending a simple pulse back through the signal's frequency, a basic binary pattern, like a handshake. The microbes flared, their pulses shifting to match her input. The waveform on her screen responded, forming a new sequence. Who? Alara's heart stopped. She wasn't just studying the signal anymore. She was talking to it. And somewhere on Alpha, Starrange 42 was hearing it too. Kale Veron's boots clanged against the maintenance bay's grated floor. The hum in Alpha Station's walls now a constant companion, like a heartbeat he couldn't shake. His implant still buzzed with the word that had spilled his coffee. Hello. It wasn't just code anymore. It was a message, and it had him on edge. He'd forwarded it to Biostellar, but the silence since his last message was gnawing at him. Was she okay? Had her boss caught her? Or was she just buried in her glowing microbes, chasing the same ghost he was? He crouched beside a diagnostic console, running a scan on the station's grid. The hello had come from Sector 7, the reactor core, right where the code had been most active. Kale wasn't a scientist, but he knew machines, and this felt like something, or someone, hijacking Alpha systems. He pulled up the latest code fragment, its patterns looping in his implant's display like a melody. It was beautiful, in a creepy sort of way. Myra's voice cut through his thoughts. Wrench, you're staring at that console like it's going to confess its sins. What's up? Kale hesitated, then turned to her. Mira was tinkering with a drone, her buzz cut catching the bay's harsh lights. She was the only one who didn't treat him like a screw-up, but even she had her limits. You remember that code I mentioned? It's back. And this time it said something. Mira raised an eyebrow, setting down her wrench. Said something? Like what? Buy me a drink? Kale exhaled, half laughing. It said hello. Clear as day. I'm not imagining it, Mira. Something's in our systems, and it's not one of ours. She frowned, crossing her arms. You're serious? Okay, show me. He patched the code fragment to her implant, watching her expression shift from skepticism to unease. This isn't normal, she admitted. But if you take this to Torres, he'll have you scrubbing vents for a month. He's already on your case. I know, Kale said, rubbing the back of his neck. But I'm not letting this go. Someone on Beta is seeing the same thing, a scientist. They think it's alive. Myra's eyes narrowed. A scientist? You're chatting up randos on StarNet now? Be careful, Wrench. You don't know who's on the other end. Kale grinned, despite himself. She's not a rando. She's smart. And she's in this with me. Mira snorted, but her expression softened. Fine, play hero. Just don't get fired. Or blown up. Run your scans, but keep it quiet. Kale nodded, turning back to the console. He sent a quick message to Epistolary, his fingers tingling with a mix of nerves and excitement. StarNet 42, Epistolary, that hello hit me hard. Caught in the core, same place as the other code. My shift lead's half convinced, but my boss'll have my head if I push it. You okay over there? What's with your microbes? Any more words from our chatty friend? He sent it, then dove into the scan. The code was still active, threading through the grid like a whisper. It wasn't disrupting anything yet, but it was there watching, waiting. Alara Chen's lab was a fortress of shadows, her portable server humming softly under a tarp. She'd rig a motion sensor to alert her if anyone approached, but her nerves were frayed from hours of dodging Raj's scrutiny. The signal's latest message, ***, burned in her mind, a question that felt like it was aimed at her soul. She'd sent a response, a simple binary pulse, and the microbes had flared, their glow almost blinding. Now, they pulsed steadily, like they were waiting for her next move. StarNet 42's message popped up, and her heart leapt. He'd seen hello too on Alpha. The signal was bridging their stations, maybe the whole cluster. She read his words, **, she's smart. And she's in this with me **, and felt a warmth she hadn't expected. He was more than a username now, more than a stranger. He was her partner in this, and the thought made her bolder. She typed, her fingers steady despite the risk. **, StarNet 42, hello on Alpha 2? This thing's everywhere. My microbes are going crazy, syncing with the signal like it's their conductor. That who? Came after I sent a test pulse. Think I got its attention. I'm running another response now, but my boss is circling. Your ghost protocol's keeping me hidden. Thanks for that. You holding up? Sounds like your boss is as fun as mine. She sent it, then turned to her server. She'd modified the incubator sensors to send a new message, a binary sequence asking, "What are you?" It was a long shot, but if the signal was learning, maybe it could answer. The microbes pulsed faster, their glow shifting from blue to a soft violet. The waveform on her screen responded, forming a new pattern. Seek. Alara's breath caught. Seek. It wasn't just a word, it was a directive. But seeking what? Her? The cluster? Something else? She recorded the data, her mind racing. The signal was evolving faster than she could keep up, and if Raj caught her now, she'd lose everything. Her motion sensor beeped, and she froze. Footsteps echoed outside, slow, deliberate. She killed the server's lights, ducking behind the incubator. The door hissed open, and a junior tech, Lila, poked her head in. Dr. Chun? Dr. Patel's looking for you. Something about missing reports? Alara forced a smile, stepping into view. Tell him I'm finalizing them. I'll be there soon. Lila nodded, oblivious to the glowing microbes, and left. Alara exhaled, her hands shaking. She couldn't keep this up much longer. She needed answers, and she needed StarNet 42. Kale's scan finished as he sat in the maintenance bay, the results flickering across his implant. The code was spreading, Not just in the core, but through Alpha's secondary systems. Life support, comms, even the drones. It wasn't malicious, not yet, but it was everywhere, like a guest who wouldn't leave. His implant pinged with Biostellar's reply, and he grinned at her sarcasm. Asterisk, your boss is as fun as mine, Star. She was holding it together, even with the odds stacked against her. Her mention of who, and Seek sent a shiver down his spine. The signal was talking, and it wasn't just saying hello anymore. He typed, his coffee forgotten. StarWrench 42, Biostellar, Seek. That's creepy as hell. My code's spreading too, like it's mapping the station. I ran a scan, caught another fragment, sending it now. Your microbes are basically pen pals with this thing. Huh? Glad the ghost protocol's working. Stay sharp, rogue scientist. I'm rooting for you. He attached the new fragment, its patterns tighter, almost urgent. The hum on the walls pulsed in sync, and Kale's gut twisted. He wasn't imagining it. The station was reacting. He patched the fragment to Mira, who was still tinkering nearby. Mira, look at this, he said, keeping his voice low. It's moving faster. Whatever it is, it's not just in the core anymore. She glanced at the data, her jaw tightening. This is above my pay grade, Wrench. We need to tell Torres, but you know he'll shut you down. Kale nodded, his mind on Biostellar. I've got someone who might figure it out first. Just cover for me, okay? Mira sighed, but her eyes held a glint of respect. You're gonna get us both fired. Fine, I'll keep Torres off your back. But you owe me a synthale. Deal, Kale said, managing a grin. He headed for his quarters, the hum following him like a shadow. His implant flickered again, and a new word appeared. Seek. He stopped dead, his heart pounding. The signal wasn't just talking to Biostellar, it was talking to him. Alara's lab felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with the hum of her server and the microbes' pulsing glow. StarWrench 42's latest fragment confirmed her fears. The signal was evolving, tailoring itself to each station. Its Seek message echoed in her data, and now it was spreading through Alpha systems too. She ran a new test, sending another binary pulse. Why Seek? The microbes flared, their violet glow casting eerie patterns on the walls. The waveform shifted, forming a response. Find. Alara's hands trembled as she recorded it. Find what? The signal was playing a game, dropping crumbs she couldn't yet follow. But it wasn't hostile. Not yet. It felt curious, like a child testing boundaries. Her implant pinged with a security alert. System audit initiated. Lab 7B. Raj was closing in. She encrypted her data, her heart racing. She needed more time, and she needed StarWrench 42. She typed, her words spilling out. Biostellar, StarWrench 42, Seek here too, now find. It's like it's hunting for something. Your fragment's a match. Our stations are linked by this thing. I sent another pulse, and it answered. I'm in trouble here. My boss is auditing my lab. If I get caught, I'm done. Keep those fragments coming. And I'm glad you're rooting for me. Means more than you know. She sent it, then hid her server under a stack of crates. The microbes pulsed faster, their glow almost frantic. The hum on the walls spiked, and her implant flashed with a new pattern, a sequence that felt like a plea. She stared at it, her breath shallow. The signal wasn't just talking anymore. It was reaching out, and she was running out of time to answer. Kale Varon crouched in Alpha Station's maintenance bay, his toolkit open beside a gutted console. The hum in the walls had become a constant pulse, like a drumbeat only he could hear. His implant flickered with the signal's latest message, find asterisk, and it felt like a command he couldn't ignore. The code was everywhere now, threading through the station's systems like roots, subtle but undeniable. He'd been scanning for hours, dodging Torres's watchful eye, and the data was clear. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't just a glitch. It was searching. Mira caught him as he swapped out a circuit board, her arms crossed. Wrench, we're gonna burn out, she said, her voice low but firm. Torres is sniffing around, and he's not happy about the core reports. You sure this code thing's worth risking your job? Kale didn't look up, his fingers steady on the wires. It's not just code, Mira. It's talking. It said seek, then find. Same thing my contact on Beta's seeing. If we ignore this, it could take the whole cluster down. Mira sighed, rubbing her buzz cut. Your beta buddy better be worth it. You're sticking your neck out for a stranger. She's not a stranger, Kale said, his voice softer than he meant. He caught Myra's raised eyebrow and flushed. I mean, she's smart. She's got data I don't. We're figuring this out together. Mira smirked. Uh-huh. Just don't let your heart override your brain, lover boy. Run your scans, but if Torres catches you, I'm not taking the fall. Kale grinned, but it faded as his implant pinged with a new StarNet message from Biostellar. Her words were tense, urgent. Biostellar, Starinch 42, fine here too. It's like it's zeroing in on something, us, maybe. I'm in deep trouble, my boss caught my hack, and he's auditing everything. I'm hiding my data, but I'm out of time. Your fragments are helping, but I need more. What's it doing on Alpha? And I'm scared, but knowing you're out there keeps me going. Kale's chest tightened. She was scared, and he couldn't do a damn thing from Alpha. He typed, his heart pounding. Starinch 42, Biostellar, hang in there. It's an Alpha systems too, comms, life support, everywhere. I'm dodging my boss, but I'm not stopping. Caught another fragment, sending it now. You're not alone in this, okay? We'll crack it together. Stay safe, rogue scientist. He attached the latest code snippet, its patterns tighter, almost desperate. The hum surged, and his implant flashed with a new sequence. Here, Kale froze, his breath catching. The signal wasn't just searching anymore, it was closing in. Alara Chen's lab was a war zone of flickering screens and hidden cables. She'd moved her portable server to a storage closet, its hum muffled by crates of lab supplies. The microbes in the incubator were a supernova of violet light, pulsing in sync with the signals find and now here. She'd sent another binary pulse. Asterisk, what do you want? Asterisk. And the response had come faster than she expected. No. Her hand shook as she recorded it. The signal was sentient, no question now. It was learning, adapting, and it wanted to understand them. But why? And what happened when it found what it was looking for? Her implant buzzed with Starinch 42's message and his words. Asterisk, you're not alone, asterisk, were a lifeline. He was risking everything too, just like her. She smiled, despite the fear, imagining him crawling through Alpha's ducts, cursing at wires. He was real, not just a username, and the thought made her bolder. She typed, Biostellar, Starinch 42, here just showed up too. Right after no. It's like it's homing in on us. Your fragment's a match. Our stations are linked, and this thing's using them to talk. I'm cornered here. My boss is about to bust me. I'm sending you my data in case I get shut down. Keep going, please. And you're keeping me sane too. She attached her latest waveform data, encrypted with the ghost protocol he'd sent. The microbes pulsed faster, their glow casting shadows that danced like specters. The lab door hissed, and Alara's heart stopped. Raj stormed in, his tablet glowing with audit logs. Chun, he barked, his eyes blazing. You've been running unauthorized tests. I warned you. Shut this down now or you're out of this lab for good. Alara stood, her voice steady despite the panic clawing at her. Dr. Patel, this isn't just a glitch. The signal's sentient. It's communicating, seek, find, hear, know. It's an alpha systems too. If we ignore this, we're risking the entire cluster. Raj's face darkened. You've been talking to someone on Alpha? You're compromising our research for some StarNet fantasy? Give me your access codes now. Alara's stomach dropped. If she handed over her codes, her data was gone, and so was her chance to understand the signal. She glanced at the incubator, the microbes pulsing like a warning. The hum in the walls spiked, and her implant flashed with a new pattern. Help. She made her choice. No, she said, her voice firm. I'm not stopping. This is bigger than your funding, Raj. His eyes widened, then narrowed. You're done, Shun. Security's on its way. He turned, tapping his tablet to summon them. Alara's heart raced. She grabbed her portable drive, copying her data as the hum grew louder, almost frantic. The microbes flared, their light blinding. She sent a final message to Starinch 42. Biostellar. Starinch, I'm busted. Security's coming. Data's sent. Keep it safe. Don't let this die. I trust you. She sent it, then yanked the drive, and hid it in her lab coat. The door hissed again, and 2 security officers stepped in. Alara raised her hands, the microbe's glow fading as if in mourning. Kale's quarters felt like a cage, the hum in the walls a constant reminder of the signal's presence. Biostellar's message hit like a shockwave. Asterisk, I'm busted star. She was in trouble, real trouble, and he was stuck on Alpha, useless. Her data flooded his implant, a treasure trove of waveforms and microbial readings. She'd trusted him with everything, and the weight of it was crushing. He typed, his fingers shaking. Star 42, Biostellar, I got your data. I won't let it go. Hang in there, we'll fix this. You're not done. Not by a long shot. I'm coming for you. He sent it, knowing it might not reach her. The hum surged, and his implant flashed with help, the same word she'd seen. The signal was desperate now, pleading across both stations. Kale grabbed his toolkit, his mind racing. He couldn't save her from security, but he could keep her work alive. He patched her data to Mira, adding a note. Asterisk cover for me. I'm digging deeper. Asterisk. Mira caught him in the corridor, her eyes wide. Wrench, what the hell? You're sending me encrypted files now? What's going on? It's from Beta, Kale said, his voice low. My contact's in trouble, and this signal's bigger than we thought. It's saying help. I need to figure out what it wants before it tears the cluster apart. Mira stared at him, then nodded. You're crazy, but I'm in. Just don't get us court-martialed. Kale grinned, his heart pounding. He headed for the core, where the signal was strongest. The hum was a roar now, and his implant flashed with a new sequence. Together, he froze, his breath shallow. The signal wasn't just talking, it was calling them to act, him and Biostellar as one. With Alara locked out of her lab and facing disciplinary action, Kale took the lead. He analyzed her data, combining it with Alpha's code fragments. The signal, they discovered, was an ancient alien probe stranded in the Centauri Cluster, seeking connection after centuries of silence. Its messages, asterisk seek, find, hear, know, help, together asterisk, were attempts to understand humanity, using the station's systems and Alara's microbes as a bridge. Kale risked everything, sneaking into Alpha's comms array to send a response. A binary pulse echoing the probe's patterns, offering friendship. The hum softened, and the signal's disruption stopped. The probe, satisfied, shared a burst of data, blueprints for advanced energy systems, a gift to the cluster. Alara, reinstated after Kale's findings vindicated her, finally met him on a shuttle between stations. Their first in-person exchange was awkward, filled with shy smiles and StarNet in jokes, but it sparked a romance that grew stronger than any signal. They stayed in the cluster, using StarNet to share their story, inspiring others to connect across the void. Thing she had to a friend.